I'm going to expand further on my last video and talk more about study techniques and ways of efficiently and frequently being able to study lots of different concepts. I'm going to talk about kinematics, which is the study of movement. Study of movement. In particular, arthrokinematics and osteokinematics. Arthrokinematics, the study of movement of joints. Osteokinematics, the study of the movement between bones. What describes this relationship very well is the convex-concave rule. Convex, concave. If we have a convex surface moving on a fixed concave surface, the shaft of the bony lever moves in the opposite direction to the articulating surface. So the shaft of the bony lever moves in the opposite direction to the articulating surface. If we have a concave surface moving on a fixed convex surface, the shaft of the bony lever moves in the same direction to the articulating surface. If it's moving this direction, the articulating surface is moving the same direction. There are 21 extremity joint types with differentiated movement patterns, which means there are 21 extremity joints where this convex-concave rule applies. For the convex surface moving on a fixed concave surface, 8 joints fit into that, and then 13, the majority of extremity joints, have concave moving surfaces on a fixed convex surface. What I did for this exam was familiarize myself with the 8, and then automatically I knew all 21 extremity joint types. So we have 8 where 5 are in the upper body, 3 are in the lower body. I'm going to start from head to toe. The first one, temporomandibular joint, sternoclavicular joint with specific focus on elevation, depression, glenohumeral joint, radioulnar joint, the proximal one, and the wrist joint. All joints except trapezoid. And in the lower body, the hip joint, the talocrural joint, and the subtalar joint, inversion, eversion motions. So again, all these joints apply to the convex surface moving on a fixed concave surface. convex, moving on a concave surface. What I like to do for myself is, especially when I familiarise myself, get good at abbreviating and doing lots of topics like this, I tend to randomise them, similar to how the exam will be presented to us, where it's 5 hours of random questions and we need to quickly transfer between topics. So I will randomly go from one area to the other and bounce back and forth. And when I'm studying, when I'm efficiently, writing a lot of these concepts, tables, definitions down, I will just do random ones that pop into my head. But also I love being able to connect them and see patterns. What I see here is that there's an 8, and then we have 5 and 3, which immediately brings me on to gate phases, where we have 8 phases of the gate, and it's split into initial contact, loading response, mid stance, terminal stance, pre-swing, initial swing, mid swing, terminal swing, where we have 5 and 3 for the stance phase and the swing phase. So again, it links it up nicely. It gives us another tool, another way to remember it, where for the convex-concave rule we have 8 of the 21 extremity joints where this applies. We have 5 in the upper body, 3 in the lower body. We remember these joints and suddenly we remember all 21, and we can therefore apply the convex-concave rule quite well in order to proceed and then talk about manual mobilisation, which essentially is why we're talking about this. And then we can then link it back to gait, which helps us to familiarise ourselves with gait even more, talking about the 5 stance phases, 3 swing phases.